How do you know that you found the best marketing agency for your company? In this video, I want to break down what you should expect from the best remodeler marketing agency and if they're a good fit for you. If you don't know me, I'm Spencer Powell, CEO at BuilderFunnel, and our agency has helped remodelers generate well over $150 million in remodeling projects. This channel, BuilderFunnel TV, is where we share tips, strategies, tactics, ideas, things that we've put to practice that have worked for us, and we hope that they'll work for you too. So today we're going to talk about some expectations and what you should look for when trying to find the best marketing agency for your company. First, to start off this video, I'm not saying that we're the best. We're on a mission to become the best remodeler marketing agency right now. And so everything that we're doing is in an improvement against our past selves. We're always looking at what did we do last year? How can we get better? What did we do last week? How can we get better? And through this process, we've come to identify different things that a remodeler or a design build company like yourself might want to look for as you're navigating the landscape of trying to find a marketing agency and then hire one and making sure they're a great fit for you and your goals. So let's dive into some of those components. The first one is this concept of a generalist versus a specialist. So there are a number of marketing agencies out there that specialize in working with residential construction or remodeling companies or contractors. And then there's tons of marketing agencies that will serve anyone, a dentist, a restaurant, an auto repair shop, or a construction company. So that is something that you want to think about. Generally, I would say that it's better to work with a specialist than a non-specialist. The example that's often used, you've probably heard this analogy many times, but if you have a health issue, would you rather go to a general doctor or a specialist? If you've got something going on with your brain, you want to go to somebody that really knows about the brain and everything about it versus just a general doctor. And so somebody that has highly specialized knowledge generally can solve the problem faster and more efficiently than somebody that doesn't have specialized knowledge. So that's the first thing. The next thing is to look at results, right? You're hiring a marketing agency for results. And so results matter. You want to look at, different categories of results. There's, maybe brand improvement, there's traffic to your website, there's leads generated, revenue generated, total growth of the business. Something else you can look at is net profit and has it improved. That is something that marketing can impact in terms of pulling in the right types of projects. So focusing on finding companies that have really generated lots of results and consistent results, and if you can find one that's generated it specifically for your niche and your area, then that's even better. The other thing that you want to look at is, do they practice what they preach? Now, an agency is a different type of business than a remodeling company, but you also want to see that they are doing some of the things that they talk about for themselves. And that's a good indicator that it's working, because if they're confident enough to do it for their own company and invest their own money into that, then there's a good chance that is a really sound strategy. And so sometimes you'll see a marketing agency out there and they'll talk about all of these cool things and all of this stuff that they can do, and then they're not doing any of it for themselves. And maybe they have a very simple website and it's just a one-pager, and you're going, well, okay, how are you marketing yourself? And again, they're different types of businesses, so I'm not saying that's the end-all be-all, but it is a powerful consideration as you're thinking through that, is are they using some similar approaches and strategies that they're telling and relaying to you as something that you should invest in for your company? All right, and then there's a handful of other things that you might want to look at when trying to determine, hey, is this agency really strong? Are they going to be the best fit for me? One of those is retention rate with clients. So if they have a really terrible retention rate, that typically means their time spent with a client is a lot shorter. So is their average retention rate, is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it 12 months? Is it longer? And that's something that you can compare and benchmark. And I think the typical just broad marketing agency retention rate is somewhere around 20 or 25%. And so if you're looking for somebody that's going to be a good fit for you, you would want to see something north of that. So, hey, clients are sticking around a lot longer than the average. That's just one good indicator that you can look at. The other thing that you can look at too is, are they cutting edge? Now, that can be a little bit tough to identify, so there's a few things that you can look into. One of those is looking at the technology landscape. So there's things like Google's making changes all the time, and Meta is, previously Facebook, they're making changes. TikTok didn't even exist, House didn't used to exist. So are they experimenting with new channels or new strategies? And you kind of want to find somebody that has a proven model and a proven system, but they're also pushing the envelope and they're trying these new things. Otherwise, you'll miss big waves of opportunity. One of those being, we started doing this for remodeling companies back in 2010, and this was when Facebook business pages were really new. And so this industry was really slow to adapt to digital marketing and social media, and so anyone that got started back then, you were able to make progress a lot faster. You can improve your rankings in terms of Google. You can make more progress on social, and so same goes for moving forward. There's always going to be new trends, new technology changes, and you want to be able to find somebody that can help you experiment as those things are being created, and know that there's going to be some misses and some failures, but at least you're not going to be left behind and going, oh gosh, if I'd only jumped on that 2 or 3 years prior. So that is a big piece of it. Another one is the strategy first approach. You want somebody that isn't just going to say, hey, these are the 2 or 3 things that we do. We do web design, we do SEO, and we do social media. So here's your package. You can pick from A, B, and C, and that's the answer. That might be the answer, but it might not. And so somebody that sells web design, they're always going to be incentivized to say, yeah, you need a redesign. Somebody that sells SEO is always going to be incentivized to say, yeah, you need this package to solve all these issues. What you want to do is find somebody that can say, hey, you're here, this is your goal, let's build a customized plan to get you there. And so that just means, hey, let's start with the strategy piece, then we'll fill in the tactics to get you there. And the tactics might be SEO, that might be redesigning your website, they might be social media, but the context of where you're starting and where you're going really matters. We talked about proven results. Another thing that you can look at is, how long have they been around? For marketing agencies, a lot of them are short-lived. They might last a couple of years, 3 or 4 years, and they kind of fizzle out. So I'm not a huge fan of only weighting or overweighting time horizon, because I feel like that doesn't do results justice. Just like you could hire somebody for your company and they could be there 6 months and you already know, this person's an overperformer, they're a rock star, I want to keep them, versus somebody that's maybe been an awesome contributor for 5 years, but they kind of want to be in that box that they're in and just do really well within that box. Time isn't the only answer. Somebody that's been there 5 years shouldn't just get the promotion because they've been there 5 years. They should get the promotion because they've earned it. And so time is not the only factor, but I think it is something to look at as you're evaluating who's a good fit for you. It does give some credibility to stability, client success, and client happiness. The other thing you want to look at is that they truly live and breathe the industry. They really know it. This is a very specific industry with lots of very nuanced details, things that you're learning. An example of that is one thing that we learned early on in our journey. I think it was probably a couple years in. We had a client down in Arizona and they said, we don't do basements down here. And we had just written a blog for them about basements. And so you want somebody that's going to be able to know as many of those nuances as possible. Probably nobody will ever understand your business and your industry as well as you do, but you want somebody to get really, really close to that. And then the final one is, you want somebody that's focused on real results. And so I see a lot of reports from other marketing companies. Just because of the nature of my role, I get to see a lot of those. I talk to a lot of remodeling companies, and then they'll say, yep, I'm working with this company, and they will forward a report. And many of the reports are focused on impressions, clicks, traffic is usually a part of that. but it's over skewed towards those types of metrics, and there's usually no focus on revenue generated. Sometimes there's a focus on leads generated, which is another really important metric that you would want to look at. But I would want to find an agency that skews heavier towards traffic, leads, and customers, and revenue produced. Customers and revenue, if you can tie it back to that, then that gives you the confidence you need to say, yep, let's keep investing here, or let's invest more here, or nope, this isn't really working anymore. And so you want to be able to have an easy and clear decision around that. And the only way is if you're actually tracking your efforts back to revenue. And so you want somebody to partner with that is focused on driving those results. And the other metrics are important and they influence revenue. But if you're only reporting on kind of impressions and clicks and traffic, you're not really going to have a sense of whether you should keep going or not. So get some alignment in terms of everybody tracking, dollars type metrics moving forward. So those are a handful of things that you want to look into, consider, ask questions around when trying to find the best remodeler marketing agency for your company. All right, guys, see you next time here on Builder Funnel TV.